Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and I want to continue sharing some more awesome additional new features and changes within iOS 13. This software just continues to surprise me with how many new features and changes Apple is bringing to the iPhone. Now, iOS 13 Beta 1 was released on June 3rd at WWDC, and a week later, I continue to come across new features and changes. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is Siri suggestion cards. Now, these appear throughout the OS, suggesting things that Siri can do for you. So for example, here in Messages, as I was texting, it was recommending that she can text for me. So it says here, talk instead of type. So I can actually use the custom Siri command and use it to reply to a particular contact, as you see here. This is the Messages application, and this popped up out of nowhere. It also popped up in the Photos application, suggesting photos that I can share with particular contacts. So Siri is more intelligent. Siri is more proactive, if you will, and it will help you do things, and it will show you the things that she can do. And I think this is a great idea. Apple should have these little prompts throughout iOS explaining to users what features are available where, so users can understand how to get to certain features. So for example, in the control center, Apple should have little notifications that you can 3D touch on the center of the platter to invoke things like AirDrop and Hotspot, because a lot of users, believe it or not, still don't understand that these things are possible. So I think this is a great move by Apple, having these little platter cards indicating things that Siri can do. Now, this next one is not a feature or a bug. I'm not quite sure what it is. It's Apple working on a feature that allows iPhone to detect when an Android user has read your message, because normally this happens with iMessage if you have the read receipt option turned on, right? So when you read your message, the other person gets this little notification that's been read. But from an Android user, Android's perspective, I've never seen this before. This is the first time I see it. So again, Apple could be working on a new feature where it detects when an Android device has read your message. Now, we can assume that if the person has replied, as you see here, then the software can assume that your message has been read. Maybe that's the reason why this tag is here, but let's wait and see. Maybe Android will be getting iMessage, or maybe there's a new feature in the pipeline with Messages. Now, aside from Apple adding a bunch of new features to the Messages application and a bunch of new Emoji stickers and everything, there's also 3 Emojis you can play around with. We have the mouse. We have one of my favorites, the octopus, is available now for iOS 13 as an emoji. I really like the tentacles. Everything looks really cool here. And a cool cow as well. So when you get your hands in iOS 13, on iOS 13, you'll be able to play around with these 3 new emojis. Now, another really awesome feature in iOS 13, if we 3D touch on the audio source, whatever audio source you're using, that's what's going to show up on the volume indicator. So now the audio is going to the Apple TV at the moment. We can actually switch that. If we go here to AirPlay, go back to iPhone for audio source, we go to the audio player here, the volume indicator. You see that now we have an iPhone icon on the volume indicator. Now, this continues to change depending on which device you have connected. I really love this. So if we have AirPods here enabled and we go ahead and connect to the AirPods here for the audio source, again, we go back to that actual volume indicator once the AirPods are connected, and that would actually change the icon to the AirPods icon. So let's go ahead and connect these AirPods here. And let me go ahead and show you. There it is. AirPods are connected, and the volume indicator has changed for the AirPods. I think that's a really nice touch to the volume indicator in Control Center in iOS 13. Another amazing, awesome feature in iOS 13, let's say you're browsing through a website. You see we're scrolling through the entire website here. Let's say we want to screenshot the entire website. Well, all you have to do is screenshot the screen right here. And when you go to the edit tools, you now have an additional option to go full page. And you see here on the side that you now have the ability to take a screenshot of the entire page on one single screenshot. You don't have to do multiples. This is a really awesome new feature. This is something that was brought to actually iOS 12 with a jailbreak tweak, but there it is. You can actually now take a screenshot of the entire web page just like that. You can click done, you can save it once you click done, and that's it. It is now saved as a PDF to files just like that. And let's go ahead and place it in here, click save, and just like that we have an entire web page screenshot in iOS 13. That's a really cool feature there. And last but not least, another great feature that Apple brought to the App Store, something I was actually looking forward to. If we go to the App Store settings here, I never have automatic app updates enabled because sometimes applications get updates that I don't necessarily want to install. I want to keep the previous version as long as I can. So if we go to the App Store settings and turn off the automatic downloads for app updates, you're now capable of removing and deleting app updates by swiping to the left on any of the updates that you have in the App Store, and you don't have to necessarily install the latest updates for an application if you don't necessarily like the recent changes. So that's an awesome feature that Apple brought to iOS 13, and these are some of the additional changes and features that I wanted to share with you guys within the software. I'm sure there's a lot more to go. There will be continued coverage here on the channel. As I said, guys, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. I'll have a follow-up video on the software itself, the performance and the stability in the next 24 to 48 hours. So stick around for that. I want to give you my thoughts on that. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.